Welcome back to the channel, everyone.
Today, we're talking about something really important.
It's a bit serious, but we think it's a conversation worth having.
We're going to talk about not wasting your life.
Now, that might sound heavy or even a little dark,
But actually, it's one of the most empowering topics we can discuss.
because once you become aware of how you're spending your time, you can change it.
And that awareness can completely transform your life.
So let's start with a simple question.
What does it actually mean to waste your life?
Is it about being lazy,
Is it about not achieving enough?
or is it something else entirely?
I think wasting your life means living without intention.
It means going through the motions without really being present.
It's like being a passenger in your own life instead of the driver.
You wake up, go through your routine, and go to bed.
Day after day, week after week, year after year.
And then one day you look back and wonder where all the time went.
That's what we want to help you avoid.
Now, let's be clear about something important.
Resting is not wasting time.
Taking a break is not wasting time.
Enjoying a lazy Sunday is not wasting time.
There's a huge difference between rest and avoidance.
Rest recharges you, so you can engage with life more fully.
Avoidance is hiding from life because you're afraid or overwhelmed.
Rest is intentional.
Avoidance is reactive.
So how do people actually waste their lives?
Let me give you some common examples.
Spending hours every day scrolling through social media without any real purpose.
Not because you're connecting with friends or learning something.
But just because you're bored and it's easy,
Staying in a job you hate for years because you're afraid of change.
even though you know deep down you're capable of more.
Putting off important conversations with people you love.
Assuming you'll always have more time.
Saying yes to things you don't care about because you can't say no.
And then having no time left for what actually matters.
These are the ways we slowly give away our lives,
Not in one big dramatic moment.
but in 1,000 small choices that seem harmless at the time.
So, what's the wake-up call?
For some people, it's a health scare.
For others, it's losing someone they love.
Sometimes it's just hitting a milestone birthday and realizing how fast time is moving.
The danger is living on autopilot.
Autopilot means you're not making conscious decisions.
You're just doing what you did yesterday and the day before that.
Your brain loves autopilot because it's efficient.
But efficiency isn't always what we need.
Sometimes we need to stop and ask ourselves hard questions.
Am I happy with how I'm spending my time?
Am I moving toward the life I want?
Or am I just drifting?
Here's something that might surprise you.
Most people say they'll do things someday.
Someday I'll travel.
Someday, I'll learn that skill.
Someday I'll start that business.
Someday, I'll spend more time with my family.
But here's the truth about someday.
Someday never comes.
Because someday isn't a day of the week.
It's just a comfortable lie we tell ourselves,
It lets us avoid taking action right now.
while still feeling like we have good intentions.
Let's talk about time for a moment.
Not to be depressing, but to be realistic.
If you live to be 80 years old, that's about 29,000 days.
Sounds like a lot, right?
But if you're 30 years old, you've already used about 11,000 of those.
You have roughly 18,000 left.
And a third of those will be spent sleeping.
So you really have about 12,000 waking days left.
That's the math.
Now, we're not saying this to scare you,
We're saying it to wake you up.
because when you realize time is actually limited, you start making different choices.
You stop wasting it on things that don't matter.
You start protecting it like the precious resource it is.
So what do you people regret at the end of their lives?
There's actually been research on this.
And the answers might surprise you.
People don't regret the things they did.
They regret the things they didn't do,
They regret not taking more risks,
not following their dreams,
Not spending enough time with the people they loved.
Working too much and living too little.
Not being true to themselves.
Caring too much about what other people thought.
These are the big regrets.
Notice what's not on the list.
People don't regret not buying a bigger house.
They don't regret not working more overtime.
They don't regret not impressing their neighbors.
The things we think matter often don't matter at all in the end.
So how do we live intentionally?
It starts with defining what actually matters to you.
Not what society says should matter.
Not what your parents want for you.
Not what looks good on social media.
But what genuinely matters to you.
This requires honest self-reflection.
You need to ask yourself some questions.
What do I value most in life?
What kind of person do I want to be?
What do I want to be remembered for?
If I had only 1 year left to live, what would I do differently?
These aren't easy questions.
But they're essential questions.
Once you know what matters, you can start making conscious choices.
Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Your time and energy are finite.
So you need to be selective.
Learn to say no to good things so you can say yes to great things.
This is hard because we want to please everyone.
But trying to please everyone means you end up pleasing no one, including yourself.
Boundaries aren't selfish.
They're necessary for a meaningful life.
Let's talk about practical steps you can take right now.
First, start with awareness.
For 1 week, track how you actually spend your time.
Not how you think you spend it, but how you actually spend it.
Write it down, hour by hour.
You might be shocked by what you discover.
Most people are.
Second, identify your values.
Write down your top 5 values.
Things like family, creativity, health, learning, adventure, whatever matters to you.
Then look at your time tracking.
Does how you spend your time align with your values?
If not, that's your wake-up call.
Third, make one change today.
Not 10 changes.
Just one.
Maybe it's calling someone you've been meaning to call.
Maybe it's signing up for that class you've been thinking about.
Maybe it's saying no to something that drains you.
One small change creates momentum.
And the momentum builds over time.
Fourth, create meaningful routines.
Not rigid schedules that stress you out.
But intentional practices that support your values.
Maybe it's a morning walk to clear your head.
Maybe it's a weekly date night with your partner.
Maybe it's 30 minutes of reading before bed.
These small rituals add up to a meaningful life.
Now, let's talk about balance and grace.
Because this isn't about perfection.
You're going to have days where you waste time.
You're going to have weeks where you feel like you're drifting.
That's normal.
That's human.
The goal isn't to optimize every single moment.
That would be exhausting and joyless.
The goal is to live with general intention.
To be mostly conscious of your choices.
And to course correct when you notice you're drifting.
Also, remember that rest is not waste.
Doing nothing, sometimes, is actually doing something important.
Your brain needs downtime.
Your body needs recovery.
Enjoying a simple pleasure, like a good meal or a beautiful sunset, is not wasting time.
That's living.
So be kind to yourself in this process.
Change takes time.
And you're doing better than you think.
Let's wrap this up with some final thoughts.
But before we do, let's talk about some specific areas where people often waste time.
Because awareness is the first step to change.
Social media is a big one.
The average person spends over 2 hours a day on social media.
That's 14 hours a week.
That's over 700 hours a year.
Almost a full month of your waking life.
Now, some of that might be valuable.
Staying connected with friends, learning new things, getting inspired.
But be honest with yourself.
How much of it is actually valuable?
And how much is just mindless scrolling?
Another area is television and streaming.
The average person watches about 3 hours of TV per day.
Again, some of that might be intentional relaxation.
Watching a great show with your family can be quality time.
But binge-watching shows you don't even enjoy that much.
That's time you'll never get back.
Then there's worrying about things you can't control.
This is a huge time waster that people don't even realize.
Worrying about what people think of you.
Worrying about things that might happen but probably won't.
Replaying past conversations in your head.
None of this changes anything.
It just steals your present moment.
Another big one is perfectionism.
Waiting until everything is perfect before you start.
Spending hours on details that don't really matter.
Redoing things over and over because they're not quite right.
Perfectionism isn't about excellence.
It's about fear.
Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough.
And that fear keeps you stuck.
So what's the alternative?
Progress over perfection.
Done is better than perfect.
Start before you're ready.
Learn as you go.
Make mistakes and keep moving forward.
That's how you actually grow.
Let's also talk about the comparison trap.
This is especially bad in the age of social media.
You see everyone else's highlight reel.
And you compare it to your behind the scenes.
Someone's vacation photos.
Someone's promotional announcement.
Someone's perfect-looking relationship.
And you feel like you're falling behind.
But here's what you're not seeing.
The struggles they're not posting about.
The doubts they have.
The challenges they're facing.
Everyone is fighting battles you know nothing about.
So comparing yourself to others is not just pointless.
It's actually harmful.
It steals your joy and your peace.
The only person you should compare yourself to is who you were yesterday.
Are you growing?
Are you learning?
Are you becoming more of who you want to be?
That's what matters.
Now, let's talk about energy management.
Because it's not just about time.
You can have all the time in the world.
But if you have no energy, you can't do anything meaningful with it.
So pay attention to what drains you and what energizes you.
Some people drain your energy.
Not because they're bad people.
But because the relationship is one-sided or toxic.
It's okay to distance yourself from those relationships.
Some activities drain you.
Even if they seem productive.
If something consistently leaves you feeling empty, question whether it's worth your time.
On the flip side, some things energize you.
Time in nature.
Creative projects.
Deep conversations with people you love.
Physical movement.
Learning something new.
These are investments, not expenses.
They give you energy, rather than taking it away.
So structure your life around more of these.
And less of the things that drain you.
One more thing we want to mention.
The power of saying yes to new experiences.
When you're young, you say yes to everything.
You try new things, meet new people, go new places.
But as you get older, you tend to say no more often.
You'll stick to what's comfortable and familiar.
And your life gets smaller.
So challenge yourself to say yes sometimes.
Yes to that invitation you'd normally decline.
Yes to that hobby you've been curious about.
Yes to that trip you've been putting off.
Because the best stories in your life will come from the times you said yes.
Okay, now let's really wrap this up.
Your life is happening right now.
Not someday in the future.
Right now, in this moment.
And you get to choose how you spend it.
You can't control everything that happens to you.
But you can control how you respond.
You can control where you put your attention.
You can control what you say yes to and what you say no to.
That's your power.
And it's more power than you might realize.
So don't waste your life waiting for the perfect moment.
The perfect moment is now.
Don't waste your life trying to please everyone.
You can't, and you'll lose yourself trying.
Don't waste your life on things that don't matter.
Because time is the one thing you can never get back.
But here's the good news.
It's never too late to start living intentionally.
Whether you're 20 or 60, you can make a change today.
You can decide right now that things are going to be different.
And that decision, that commitment, is where everything begins.
So we want to leave you with a challenge.
Before you go to bed tonight, do one thing that matters.
Call someone you love.
Write down your values.
Take a walk and think about your life.
Start that project you've been putting off.
Just one thing.
Because one thing leads to another.
And before you know it, you're living a life you're proud of.
A life that feels meaningful.
A life that's truly yours.
Thank you so much for watching today.
You know, this was a heavier topic than usual.
But we hope it was helpful.
If it resonated with you, let us know in the comments.
And if you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe.
We'll see you in the next video.
Until then, don't waste your life.
Give 8.